Oregon and Indiana are facing off on Friday night. Indiana is favored in this game by 3.5 over Oregon, and Indiana obviously has the edge. On FanDuel, they're favored by 3.5. I don't know where they are anywhere else. I'm only looking at FanDuel here. But if you look at this game, Indiana obviously has the edge because they went into Autzen and beat Oregon by 10 points. Now, some people could make some arguments that Indiana actually could have won that game by more, and you could also have made the argument that if it wasn't for a mistake or two by Oregon, Oregon would have been much closer in that game and possibly even came out with the win in that one. Obviously, those are just what ifs, and nobody actually wins or loses in what ifs. It's just a fun game to play, I guess. And there is some area for analysis in those, but the analysis that we need to get into here is the news that Jordon Davison is going to be out the rest of the season after suffering a collarbone injury. It sounded like it happened in the first quarter of the Texas Tech game. So I know there was some consternation of, did it happen on that last run when he got into the end zone against Texas Tech? No, 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 no. Sounds like this happened in the first quarter against Texas Tech, and he just played the entire game through it. Now, collarbone injuries, if you've ever broken your collarbone, injured your collarbone at all, it's not exactly the most comfortable thing in the world. So major props to Jordon Davison that he, I mean, maybe props, I don't know. Just, the heart and the desire to go out there for his team to continue to play through this injury. I don't ever want to advocate for a player to play through their injury because I do think that, football is not something you always get to play throughout your entire life. And if you really mess yourself up injury wise, you can significantly cut down that time of play you have in your life. But it does show how much he truly does care about his team, how much he was willing to go through the pain and be able to contribute for his team to get the win against Texas Tech. Excellent stuff. Excellent attitude, I guess we should say, by Jordon Davison. But he's not going to be the only running back that is out. You are also going to see Jayden Limar not be playing in this game, and Dalton Riggs as well. But Jayden Limar, the bigger storyline here, I guess you could say, he's not going to be playing in this game either because Jayden Limar has actually entered into the transfer portal. Now, this is not great news for Oregon because this puts Oregon with only 3 running backs in this game. Now, 2 of them very good running backs, but this Oregon system has utilized 4 running backs all season long. They went down to 3 for a little bit with Deer Hill when he had his injury and stuff. So I shouldn't say all season long, but really, for a good amount of the season, they've been utilizing 3 running backs, and it's been very effective for them. I talked about it on this show multiple times about how good this was for Oregon. It allows them to play, 21 personnel, 12 personnel, obviously, with their 2 tight ends as well, but it allows them to play so much more 12 personnel to be able to have their running backs back there. I'm sorry, I was just thinking, I said 12 personnel, 21 personnel, because it allows them to have their running backs back there. And then also with a deeper running back room that you can go 4 deep. Obviously, with Deer Hill's injury, you couldn't go 4 deep all season long. But you did see Jay Harris out there a little bit and him working in with the offense some. But really, 3 running backs for the majority of the year, for them to be able to do 21 personnel, have 2 backs in the backfield, it's been very beneficial for them. And even in that game against Indiana, and what was that, week 5, week 6, I think it was, Jordan Davis was the one who had the most success. And really, he's been kind of resigned to the power back role for times this season. But then also, when he has the hot hand against the team and he's the one that's running the best, I mean, that's another aspect of this Oregon offense is Will Stein will go to whichever running back is having the most success, and you just kind of ride that guy, keep going with him. Well, with Jayden Limar, and obviously Mekhi Hughes as well, he's been in the portal for a while. With them in the portal, this makes it much more difficult for the program this week. The Ducks will have to, rely on 3 available running backs in Noah Whittington, Deer Hill Jr., and Jay Harris. Now, Jay Harris has said he intends to enter into the transfer portal, but he has not actually entered into it yet, it sounds like. So that is why he is able to play in this one. You can be in the portal and still play with your team, but typically it's just a Dan Lanning Oregon type of thing that you're not going to that you're not going to be in the portal and still playing with your team. Hill nearly doubled his snaps after the Indiana game, and this could be a good sign for Oregon. Up to the Indiana game, he was averaging about 5 snaps per game. In the games after Indiana, he was averaging nearly double that. Deer Hill went the Air Hill went from 5 snaps per game against a competition going up to that Indiana game to 9 snaps per game following that Indiana game, and that's when he had 3 of his 5 touchdowns on the season, and he was getting carries not every single time he was in there, but there were also times when he was in there when he wasn't getting carries as well. All of this started when Lamar started having his injury issues and things started to play into stuff there. So we went from an absolutely stacked running back room for Oregon, where they just had a ton of depth and a ton of different guys that can come in and play, to now this running back room for Oregon being pretty scarce, and this doesn't exactly line up with the type of offense that Oregon wants to run. Oregon does have 2 of their top 3 highest graded running backs on the season. Hill and Whittington are 2 of their top 3. Jordon Davison, though, was the highest graded running back on PFF offensively or rushing. It was either offensively or rushing wise, one of the two. A lot of those grades are the same, though. So we'll see what this looks like with, maybe some less 21 personnel. I think in this one, you'll start seeing some more 12 personnel, both tight ends in there. Could we see some more tight ends in the backfield possibly to kind of help out with that kind of stuff? Whatever Will Stein is going to do, it is going to be very interesting. And it will be interesting to see how Indiana adjusts as well, because this will most certainly change the offense. I can't imagine that Will Stein's going to go out there and have, his running backs playing 30, 40 snaps a game with running, the two running back out there type of look. So on the bright side for Oregon, they have adjusted all season long to injuries. They've had injuries on the offensive line. They've had injuries at the wide receiver position. They've had injuries on the defensive side of the ball as well. This Oregon team has found a way to adjust every single time they have injuries. And like I said as well, this could provide Oregon with some different looks that maybe Indiana is not prepared for. The only issue with this is that Will Stein is also the head coach at Kentucky right now. He's very busy with the transfer portal. Obviously, Kentucky just got the flip of Kenny Minchie from Nebraska to come on over to Kentucky there. And so how much time does Will Stein really have to give to this and give to his team to be able to do this kind of stuff? We'll see. To me, that's my biggest concern, because it seems like these teams that don't have coordinators doing anything else, Miami, Indiana, they have really benefited from it. But then at the same time, we just saw Ole Miss take down, Georgia, and half of their offensive staff, or like all of their offensive staff almost, was also doing double time at LSU and everything. So we'll see what happens here. It's going to be very interesting. If you would, please do like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments, who do you have in this game? Do you have Indiana to cover? Do you have Oregon to cover? Do you have a score prediction picked out? Would love to hear what everybody has in this one. I do think that this Jordon Davison and Jayden Limar is going to impact things, but I don't think this will impact the spread. Unless big money comes in on one side or the other, I think the spread is probably going to stay at about 3.5. It was at 4.5 at one point. Might be there at 4.5 as well. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, subscribe, and give us a 5-star rating on the podcast as well. Going to take a quick break.